University of Missouri. He was teammates with Ben Askren. One of his coaches, Tyron Woodley. E.J.Brooks started his pro MMA career 7-0, a very hot prospect, but then 1-5 in his next 6 bouts. His last fight, March of last year, I commentated that here on UFC Fight Pass. Brooks, the big underdog against the then undefeated Ben Egley. Brooks, very good, winning unanimous decision. E.J.Brooks told me he feels like he regained his confidence off of that performance, even though it was March of last year.
And that's how this game goes, Sean. You know, you're never as good as you think you are. You're never as bad as you think you are. It's somewhere in between. It's really easy to get down on yourself, especially on a losing streak.
The man who coined the term slam and slay into the victory cage. Joe, your keys to victory for E.J.Brooks are presented by Bad Boy.
E.J.Brooks needs to start fast. Dakota Cochrane doesn't settle well into fights and start fast. You can kind of rush him, and E.J.Brooks should do that. He also needs to match Dakota Cochrane's athleticism, which we believe he can do, because Dakota's a very athletic, strong fighter, and he doesn't really fade strength-wise as the fight goes on.
Dakota Cochrane, cast member of the Ultimate Fighter Season 15. In the best form of his career. He's won 9 of his last 10 bouts with 7 finishes. Fascinating with Dakota Cochrane, he is a rare fighter who truly gets better as the fight progresses. Virtually every fighter says, I get better as the fight progresses. It's true with Cochrane. He's had 12 career fights that have gone past 2 rounds. In those, a record of 11-1.
Yeah, no, it serves him well to settle into fights. He does really well as fights go on longer. You know, he's told us repeatedly, we've commentated several fights of his, that he doesn't feel like his strength fades at all throughout a fight, even a long fight. He's able to keep his strength, and a lot of guys, he said he feels their strength start to fade, and then he can start overpowering them. Even here at 170, where he made the move up to 55, didn't like that cut anymore. Feels plenty strong here at this weight class, and he's proven so, winning most of his last several fights.
Your keys to victory for Dakota Cochrane are presented by Bad Boy.
Well, just like we talked about, Sean, he needs to take this fight to the later rounds. Don't let E.J.Brooks come out hot on him and break his confidence. And then he needs to use his strikes to set up takedowns. Because I believe that if he can put E.J.Brooks on his back, he's going to have an advantage there. I think Dakota fights pretty well off his back. E.J.Brooks is a very accomplished high-level wrestler. Doesn't fight quite as well off of his back. So I think he could use some strikes, try to get some takedowns, and possibly win that fight this way.
In the welterweight division, E.J.Brooks versus Dakota Cochrane. Our tale of the tape is presented by Bad Boy.
E.J.Brooks comes in 170.6, Dakota Cochrane 170.8.
Let's go back to Mike Markham.
The following bout is presented by Nebraska Orthopedic Hospital. This bout is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds in the Victory FC welterweight division. Introducing first, the man fighting out of the Harrah's Hotel and Casino blue corner. A wrestler and boxer with a professional mixed martial arts record of 9 victories opposite 5 defeats. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed in at 170.6 pounds. Fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri, by way of Cahokia, Illinois, Pretty Boy E.J.Brooks. His opponent fights out of the CageTix.com red corner, a freestyle fighter with a record of 27 victories opposite 10 defeats. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, his official weight 170.8 pounds. Fighting out of Omaha, Nebraska, by way of Denison, Iowa, Dakota Cochrane. Your referee, Dave Jobin.
You heard the big ovation for Dakota Cochrane. Extremely popular here in his home city, Omaha, Nebraska. Round number 1. Tonight's fight clock is presented by Alienware, the ultimate gaming experience. Blue trunks for E.J. Brooks, black trunks for Dakota Cochrane. Brooks from the southpaw stance. Cochrane early on showing patience, outside kick. Counter kick right back from Cochrane. That landed more flush. Take on the jump knee. Flash from Dakota Cochrane.
Dakota's always jumping through the air in his fights. Every time we commentate him, he ends up off the ground at some point jumping around. Exciting fighter to watch.
E.J. Brooks talked about that. Said there's a lot of flash, but not really substance in those flying, spinning, and highlight reel attacks. Head kick, blocked by Brooks. Level change, ducking under the right hand to the body lock, and the big takedown hit by E.J. Brooks.
Really technical takedown from the body lock there by E.J. If we get a look at that one on the replays, you guys will see that he actually moves Dakota's lower body with his own legs, with his knee, and that's what was able to get the hips going to Dakota, put him on his back, and a big takedown here in the first round.
Open guard from Cochrane. See Brooks basing on his right knee, throwing left hands to the body. Brooks not sitting back for a leg lock there. He actually slipped off balance as Dakota Cochrane was throwing up his legs with force. Again, Brooks posturing on his right knee. Slapping the thigh, slapping on the knee. That was meant to be disruptive. Cochrane to his feet and down again on the inside trip.
Very good job by E.J. Brooks of securing that takedown, not letting Dakota back to the stand-up. Never let him off the hook, kept his leg elevated, tripped out his balance leg, right back to his back.
I've commentated a number of E.J. Brooks fights. This is where he wins, Joe. He hits the takedown. He doesn't open up with ground and pounds, but he holds top position extremely well. His guard from Dakota Cochrane now.
He's definitely staying active enough to stay here for the time being. You know, we only got 2 minutes left in the round. Got a good takedown. Had to fight to keep Dakota down a little bit, but right now is controlling this fight from the top position.
E.J. Brooks, very effective with top control. Slick on the pass to half guard. You see, putting his head now into the chin of Dakota Cochrane. And that's legal, that's not a butt. Cochrane trying to explode out. Brooks now taking his back on the waist cinch in suplex position. Couldn't fully hit it, but he did hit the takedown. You see the tight body lock from E.J. Brooks.
Yeah, you know, when you wrestled in college, you've been in this position a few times. You know, he's done, I'm sure, extensive work right from this exact position. And so he's doing a good job here of using his body weight against Dakota Cochrane. Not letting him get his balance, wearing him down, and now gets one hook in. He's riding the legs, controlling Dakota Cochrane's back.
You see how heavy E.J. Brooks is. It's a smothering top game. One hook in. No attempt yet for a rear naked choke. Bigger shots now from Brooks. Now fishing in under the chin with the right arm. 40 seconds remaining, round number 1. Brooks still with one hook in, and you see the balance of E.J. Brooks. This has got to be a frustrating round number 1 for Dakota Cochrane.
Yeah, a big confidence boost for E.J. Brooks because this round's going exactly how he wants this fight to go. Him controlling the top position, out wrestling Dakota Cochrane. He's taken no damage. He's definitely controlling this fight at this point.
You see Brooks pulling his ankle through, not locking on the body triangle, but essentially forming the body triangle as he reaches through with his left hand. Hammer fist to the head. Cochrane can't get up before the bell. The end of round number 1.
Take a look at some of the action here. Dakota Cochrane overcommits with that right hand. EJ catches his hips, lifts him with the body lock, but uses that leg to lift Dakota's knee extra in the air, which puts him on his back. Really good takedown there from E.J.Brooks. And now we see, after a scramble to the feet, good job by Dakota Cochrane to hook the leg so it nullifies a big slam, but still a takedown for E.J.Brooks to control from the top.
Really no point even asking. Clearly 10-9. E.J.Brooks, round number 1.
Absolutely.
So much discussion about 10-8. Again, look for the 3 Ds. At least 2 have to be present to consider a 10-8. Superman punch and a step in deep from Dakota Cochrane. Damage, domination, duration. Almost a fireman's carry takedown. And that was well done by Dakota Cochrane. Really no damage in round number 1. You saw positional dominance, you saw duration, but that's not a 10-8 round for me.
No, yeah, I didn't think so either. I controlled the whole round, but not a lot of damage, and Dakota came out a little more motivated here in the second round after getting wrestled hard in the first round. Landed a good shot, and then a big takedown. And that wasn't wrestling, that was wrestling. You just picked him up and threw him down.
2 of the 3 Ds, again, damage, domination, duration are present. You need to consider as a judge a 10-8. If all 3 are present, you need to give a 10-8. And it's just a thorough 10-9 for E.J.Brooks. And on the waist cinch. Cochrane, though, hitting a really nice takedown. Now again, playing defense instead of offense. Brooks getting one hook in. Brooks effectively using the cage, as you see with his back foot. Just a smothering, controlling style from E.J.Brooks.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of counter wrestling. You know, Dakota Cochrane initiated that takedown, and then E.J.Brooks was able to reverse him and get a takedown of his own and up on top. And now Dakota's trying to return that favor. We got a good little matchup here in the wrestling so far. And, you know, I think if I was Dakota Cochrane, I would try to separate and use more strikes since he got out-wrestled in the first round.
Cochrane unable to hit the single leg takedown, now paying the price for the attempt. Brooks letting go with the right hand and definitely takes the back. Cochrane looking for wrist control. You see Brooks sucking in the ankle. So one thing as a fighter, Joe, you well know, to say, oh, I want to be heavy, I want to be sticky, but it's little things like sucking in ankles, wrist control, but that's nicely done by Dakota Cochrane. Trying to alter the tempo and the flow of this fight, altering the position. Doesn't have a hook in now, getting very high in the ride and too high. Over the top, 2 minutes remaining round 2.
You know, every time Dakota makes something good happen here, he uses that athleticism and makes something good happen for himself. But then E.J.Brooks just is such a technical wrestler that he ends up countering it and gets an advantage. So far, this fight, the story of this fight is that E.J.Brooks is technically out-wrestling Dakota Cochrane.
Dakota Cochrane is a really good fighter. When you see this from E.J.Brooks, you have to think, how did he have a span of 1 win in 6 fights? So much of this game is confidence. Brooks looking the very confident fighter right now. And how can Dakota Cochrane, Joe, not feel frustration?
Look at this tweet. This tweet, you can't count Cochrane out. Judas clutch. Samuel J. Wilk, my older brother. Shout out to my older brother tweeting in live on the show. Or some guy with the exact same name on Twitter, one or the other.
So your older brother and the administrator of my podcast both weighing in on Twitter. Well done tonight, boys. 55 seconds remaining, round number 2. This Omaha crowd giving huge support to Dakota Cochrane. They're getting restless and they're clearly getting frustrated because Dakota Cochrane is not being beaten up in this fight. He's losing the positional battle.
Yeah, that's right. You know, he has made a couple good things happen in this round, but for the most part, it's still just been out-wrestled by E.J.Brooks.
Closing seconds, round number 2. We're in the welterweight division. E.J.Brooks versus Dakota Cochrane. We are headed to the 3rd final round.
Some of this action. Dakota Cochrane, big flying knee, and sets up a huge takedown. But this engaged him back into the wrestling. And E.J.Brooks was eventually able to end up in the top position and with control. Another look at it, big lift, big slam from Dakota Cochrane. Definitely the highlight of the round, but the majority of the round he spent getting out wrestled by E.J.Brooks.
Twitter tonight, keep your round-by-round scorecard. Use the hashtag VFC56. Let Joe Wilk know what you think of his scorecard, even if you're Joe Wilk's older brother. Joe, what did you see for round number 2?
10-9 E.J.Brooks again. You know, it was a huge takedown from Dakota to start the round off, but for the most part, we spent that second round watching E.J.Brooks put a wrestling clinic on Dakota Cochrane.
Well, next month, UFC heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic will seek revenge as he faces the last man to defeat him, Junior Dos Santos. It's UFC 211 Live, Saturday, May 13th from Dallas, only on pay-per-view. Big swing and a miss from Dakota Cochrane. E.J.Brooks takes advantage to the inside. Couldn't hit the takedown, but you see, turning, putting Cochrane's back against the fence. Grinding to the inside. Again, keep in mind, as we said, Dakota Cochrane, 27-10 overall as he enters this fight tonight. But in his career fights, past 2 rounds, 11-1. He's shown the ability to come from behind, find late finishes, wear down opponents. But as of now, no disrespect to Dakota Cochrane, it just doesn't feel that way.
Right. Well, you know, the thing is he's trying to make things happen.
Big takedown from Brooks.
But when he tries those big shots on the feet, he's overcommitting, and that's what's allowing E.J.Brooks to get takedowns. I mean, credit Dakota for taking the chances, but that's how we end up here again, is Dakota swung for the fences, gave his hips up, and that allowed E.J. to get back to a wrestling position where he's dominated most of his fight.
Nice turn by Cochrane. Big elbow strike. Brooks back to his feet. Cochrane again looking for the takedown. He has hit one effectively in this fight, down in round number 2. Great balance, great takedown defense from E.J.Brooks. That was Brooks looking for the takedown. That was nearly a spike. Beautiful sequence. Cochrane nearly spiked on his head. Now he finds himself in the dominant position.
Both of these guys are strong, so it was not easy to lift a man like that from that position. That showed a lot of strength from E.J. But this is where Dakota likes to turn it up on people. We got a couple minutes left. It's a fight he's losing. Spinning elbow. And he's trying to force a fight here with E.J. Brooks.
It's only be a spike under the unified rules of MMA from the ABC. A fighter has to land on the top of his head. Typical pile driver and kayfabe in pro wrestling. But on that takedown, Cochrane actually landed on the back of his neck. But he powered through it. 145 remaining, third and final round of this welterweight fight. Shortening on the inside from E.J. Brooks. Joe, in a word, smothering from E.J. Brooks.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job of just staying on Cochrane like glue. It's been like this for a lot of the fight, and that's not easy to do. Cochrane's a very strong fighter. What can Dakota Cochrane do about this wrestling? That's a good question on Twitter from Chokehold MMA. So far, he can't do anything with it other than just get out-wrestled. You know, E.J. Brooks has really established his game plan here. He's got a minute left, and in my opinion, if this fight continues like this, he's going to win a decision based on being able to out-wrestle a very strong and athletic Dakota Cochrane.
Final minute of this fight. Keep your live tweets coming. Tonight, all night long during VFC 56, your tweets are powered by Herdat. E.J. Brooks again looking for the high single leg. Short on the elbow from Dakota Cochrane.
We got Corey Anderson from the UFC tweeting in. Good neck control by his boy, E.J. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the shout out. Keep them coming on Twitter.
Dakota Cochrane really trying to open up, trying to turn defense into offense. Brooks now definitely taking the back. Clever on the step around. Brooks will look for one more takedown. Final seconds of this fight. Spinning back elbow from Cochrane. There's the separation. Cochrane coming forward. The bell at the end of the fight. And no touch of gloves. Interesting. No acknowledgement between either fighter after the bell.
Well, I think Dakota's frustrated. You know, he wanted to get separation and scrap it out there a little bit, and he just couldn't get it done because E.J. stayed on him so well with his wrestling. I'm sure we're going to see a handshake, probably a hug at some point afterwards, but, you know, right in the heat of the moment, sometimes it's not always that easy.
There was absolutely no animosity between these two fighters coming in. Our move of the fight is presented by All Max Nutrition.
Here's some of the action from the fight. See them working up against the fence in the clinch. Dakota was doing a good job up until that point when E.J. was able to lift his hips. Took the back, almost a crab ride from him here, controlling the back of Dakota Cochrane. Dakota able to spin to the top position. Good back and forth battle, especially in that scramble there. And then we see the power of E.J. Brooks. A big lift there from Dakota. Almost dumped him on his head, then gets lifted over his head himself.
Final seconds of the fight. Nearly the acknowledgement. I'll blame Dave Jobin. Joe, your final scorecard?
30-27, E.J. Davis, all on wrestling. Good fight.
Here's Mike Markham.
We go to the judges' scorecards for the decision. Bryce Teager, Matt Prieto, and Rodney Verhoof all score this bout 29-28 in favor of your winner by unanimous decision, Pretty Boy E.J. Brooks.